Welcome back to the eForge podcast, where overwhelmed operators become empowered leaders, where we forge businesses, influence, and legacies at last. I'm your host, Cory Long. Over the last decade, I've helped entrepreneurs and business owners generate tens of millions of dollars in revenue through digital marketing, SEO, lead generation, and strategic positioning online. Right now, we're entering one of the biggest shifts that I've seen in the early days of Google. Search itself is changing. Artificial intelligence is now answering questions directly through tools like ChatGPT, Google AI Overviews, Perplexity, Claude, Grok, voice search. Just pick one, right? Instead of showing 10 blue links, these systems are recommending specific experts, businesses, and professionals. Recently, I've been working with real estate professionals and brokerages, including Keller Williams here in Lubbock, helping them understand how this new AI search landscape actually works and how to position themselves so they show up when buyers and sellers ask questions online. So today, I want to pull back the curtain. I want to share some of what I'm teaching inside of those trainings, because whether you're a realtor, a local business owner, someone that does regional, national, even worldwide, it doesn't matter what size of business you are right now, an entrepreneur, an agency, the rules of visibility are changing fast. And the businesses that understand this shift early will have a massive, massive advantage in AI. So let's dive in. Look, this is probably the biggest shift that's literally changed since Google started. One of the biggest mistakes people are making right now is assuming SEO still works the way it did 5 or 10 years ago. Traditional search engines ranked websites. AI search engines recommend authorities. It's a massive difference. Instead of just matching keywords, AI systems break questions into smaller pieces, pull information from multiple sources across the internet, and assemble an answer. They literally go out to thousands of pages at one time, pull an answer and pull that in. So when someone asks a question like, who is the best realtor in Lubbock for luxury homes that have pools in this school district? AI doesn't just look at a website. It looks across the entire internet to determine who has the authority, who's mentioned across trusted platforms, who has consistent profiles, who answers questions clearly, who appears in multiple credible sources. Then it stitches all that together as an answer, which means something surprising can happen. A business might rank number 1 on Google and still be completely invisible to AI search. That's the shift that most people haven't realized yet. So here's what I'm teaching realtors right now. When I start working with real estate professionals inside brokerage trainings, the first thing we talk about is something I call AI identity. In simple terms, you have to teach the internet who you are. AI systems don't just read your website. They analyze your entire digital footprint. Things like your Zillow profile, realtor profile, homes profile, brokerage pages, Google business profiles, Bing profiles, Apple Maps, LinkedIn, YouTube, articles that are online, directories that you're in, reviews across all of the places that you have reviews, including things like Yelp and other places online, and even mentions across the internet where somebody might have done something for a nonprofit or a gala, or they were in the news locally, or they were on a podcast just like this one. All of these signals combine to form what AI systems interpret as your digital entity. And if those signals are scattered, inconsistent, or incomplete, AI simply doesn't understand who you are or what you specialize in. So the first step we build with agents is a clear, consistent digital identity across all their assets. Guys, this isn't just for agents. This is for any kind of business. I don't care if you own a boutique, you are a pool cleaner, you work at some other type of business, or work in some other, even if it's a worldwide, like we have clients right now that own clinics, and we have clients that do medical witness, and we have clients that are construction and contractors, and we have clients that own Airbnbs and other places like that, like hospitality type places. We also have clients that are doctors and lawyers, and we've had clients that are a little bit of everything through the years, from moving companies to you name it. You better have a consistent, clear digital identity across all your assets, because if you don't have that foundation actually formed and in place, you're not going to be seen. So once that foundation is in place, visibility begins to increase dramatically. So let me talk about the 3 layers of AI visibility. When I teach this inside of my AI Authority Engine training, I break it into 3 simple layers. Layer one is entity foundation. That means structuring your online presence so AI systems understand who you are, what you do, where you do it, and what you specialize in. Like it literally needs to know these things. It also needs to know who you serve. A lot of businesses have all this information out there, but AI doesn't have any idea who to show your information to because it doesn't know who to serve the information up to. So you have to teach it who you serve, who you are, what you do, and where you operate. Layer two is authority signals. AI systems trust businesses that appear across multiple authoritative platforms. Think about mentions that are on media, articles, directory, podcasts, professional profiles, third-party validation, places that are outside of you. Here's the thing about AI. It expects you to brag about you. It expects you to talk about you. It expects you to tell all the greatness about you. But what AI doesn't really do is believe that unless it's somewhere else out there that validates that you are what you say you are. So if I said, man, I am the best marketing agency, Rock Consulting is the best AI SEO search marketing agency in Texas, I better have something out there that says that we actually are that outside of me, outside of my website, my profiles, my stuff. It has to be somewhere else. So when I went on a podcast recently with Scott Carson down in Austin, and he goes, "You're the AI Jedi." And this is why, because whenever I went and did the things that you told me to do, my podcast spiked. I started to see more leads coming in. He went from just a couple of leads a month from AI to now he's having a lead every other day or so from AI. All because of just doing the things that I recommended him to do in AI, just doing the things that we're talking about right now. So these signals tell AI that you're a credible authority in your field. Then there's layer three, answer content. AI search engines don't rank entire pages the way Google used to. Instead, they pull specific pages that answer questions. One of the things that I try to tell people all the time now is AI scans pages. It scans content just like you and I would as a human. It scans it. It pulls data really quickly. It likes little summaries. It likes snippets. It likes overviews. It likes TLDR. If you guys don't know what TLDR is, look it up. So a single paragraph on your site might be cited by AI, even if your page isn't ranking traditionally. That's why content strategy has to evolve. It has to change. It has to be different. You can't just go write a bunch of content out there and just expect to show up everywhere. That doesn't work anymore. In fact, some of the guys that I follow, they're doing a ton of research right now. And they're researching these sites and companies that put out massive amounts of blog content and other types of content. And what they're noticing is it's not the companies that are putting out a ton of content that are actually getting served up and answered inside of AI. It's the people that are putting out less content, but they're putting it out in the places and the ways that AI wants it. Then it's getting served up into AI. So this is no longer a game of just flood the internet with content. If you're just going out and pushing content out, thinking that that's going to get you seen in AI, it's not. It might work for a short amount of time. It might work once or twice, but it's not going to be anything consistent because it's going to have a short shelf life. So here's why realtors are really going to be one of the very first ones to feel this. Real estate is actually one of those industries that probably is going to feel this shift the fastest because buyers and sellers ask very specific questions now. I was one of those. I literally went and we're selling our home. So I went on chat and I just basically started saying all this stuff that I had in my house, like the type of home that I have, all the amenities I have, the school district that I'm in, the price range that I'm looking at. And then I started to ask it specific questions about realtors, how many sales they'd had, do they have a marketing strategy, all these things. And I had this whole conversation with chat to find my realtor. That's how I found my realtor that I'm using right now. So they're not going to just ask things like, best realtor in Lubbock, Texas, right? They're not going to ask something very generic like that. They're going to ask about, hey, I'm looking for a house that's a 4.3. It's got this kind of amenities. It's on this kind of acreage. It's in this school district, right? So for me, it was, I'm selling a house that's 3,000 plus square feet. It has 5 plus bedrooms. It's in Friendship School District. It's out in Wolfforth, Texas, right? And I started going through these steps of getting all of these pieces of the puzzle in place. And it helped me to start to realize that I could dive in and dig in and find a realtor that had actually sold a lot of homes and had a process and had a system for marketing and that has success, because I wanted to find somebody that had success. I also wanted somebody that was in my price range, that had sold houses in my price range. That was important to me, because not every realtor is going to know how to sell a house at the price point that we're at. So when you're thinking about what you do as a business right now, whatever it is that your offer is, whether it's a service or a product, or maybe you're a realtor, maybe you're whatever, right? You need to come up with, what do I specialize in? What is something that's going to make me stand apart? What's something that's going to attract the buyer to me that AI can serve the answer up to, so that it chooses to recommend me to that buyer or that seller? Look, if your digital authority isn't strong, you simply won't be the answer, because AI systems are going to choose who to recommend. That's the difference, right? It used to be that Google would just serve up all these 10 links and the maps and all that stuff. That's not the case anymore. Chat has its own maps. It just does. It just does. It doesn't pull, most of the time, it doesn't pull from Google. And even when it does pull from Google, do you realize that it's pulling most of its data not even from the top 10? It's just not. It's stats. Like, the stats show that it does not do that. So the opportunity that most people are missing right now is that we're still early. That's what's interesting about this, is we're still early in this. People think, oh man, I'm so late to the game, da 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 da. That's not true. That's not true. If you look at the stats right now, there's only about 3% of the world that actually use paid AI services. 3%. You're early. Just because you've adopted it, just because you're around it, just because you're listening to this podcast because you're curious about AI and you've been using AI, doesn't mean that the rest of the world has. There's a lot of people that I talk to on a daily basis that have never logged into a single AI platform. None of them. Don't use them. Now, that doesn't mean that Google doesn't show and pull up an AI overview. That's where people are missing the point, because it's not just going to Gemini or going to Chat or Claude or Grok or Perplexity or one of the other platforms, right? It's not just going to one of those platforms and searching anymore. If you just go to Google and search, do you realize that there's 3 different ways that Google can serve you up information right now? Google can serve you up information just in normal Google search, which, by the way, is starting to go away more and more and more. It used to be that like 50%, 40% was Google AI overviews. Now it's well over 50%. They're saying by the end of this year, it'll be over 70% of all Google searches will be AI overviews. So you've got regular Google, which is starting to go away. You've got AI overviews, which is taking over. And then you have AI mode. All 3 of those have a different algorithm, by the way. You can show in one, doesn't mean that you're going to show in the others. So you better be plugged into somebody or a system or a process or training or something that understands that this stuff is changing at a rapid, rapid pace. So if you haven't started optimizing, guess what? Most businesses haven't either. Most businesses out there right now have no idea that they even optimize for AI. They're still trying to figure out, how do I rank on Google Maps? Great, still needed. We still need to do that, but that doesn't get the whole answer anymore. That's they're showing right now that over 70-something% of the people that come into an AI overview or an AI answer never click through to the website. They never click through to anything else. They literally get the answer and they move on. And what's fascinating is I go talk to people right now and I will ask them that question. They'll go, you know what? I do that same thing. I'll go in, I'll click, or I'll talk to my phone, or I'll talk to the device, and I tell it what I want it to do. It gives me an answer and I just believe it and I go on. Now, if you're not the answer that's given, guess what? You're not even in the conversation. So if you aren't optimizing for AI search right now, that's what this is about. That means that most professionals who start building an authority now are going to dominate visibility for years, because we're ahead of the curve. That's why I've been working with entrepreneurs, agencies, and professionals through the AI Authority Engine training that I started, which goes through and gives a whole 6-week training to show you how to get ranked in AI. It doesn't matter what kind of business you are, doesn't matter how big the business is, doesn't matter where you're located around the world. None of that stuff matters, man. AI's AI. The algorithm works the same. So we give it the foundational pieces. So I teach all of that inside of AI Authority Engine. I've already started putting bonuses in where I talk about Wikidata and Wikipedia and Grokopedia and other platforms that are out there now that are brand new. There's some of this stuff that's only been out for months that's already positioning and showing and changing the way things work inside of AI. And if you're one of those people that you're like, well, I can just go throw a press release or go post on Reddit and get it to rank. Yeah, maybe today. Maybe. That's the thing about this, guys, is it's changing so fast. You better get a strong foundation because that stuff's going to have a half-life. It's going to go away. So if that's your strategy, you better get a better one because it's probably going to go away. So in the AI Authority Engine training, I actually teach how to do this. So if you wanted your staff member to come do that, they could come do that. If you wanted a marketing person that's on your team to come do that, if you're an agency and want to learn how to do that, I actually teach that. Now, if you're a business that you're like, look, I want to go to that next step. I want to learn how to market. I want to learn how to run a business, scale a business, all that stuff. I also have the eForge group, the Entrepreneurial Forge group, which this podcast was named after. That group is for my group coaching that I do, where I teach everything. Like this week, we're literally going to go in and I'm going to roll out to all of my students. I'm going to roll out a dashboard that's specifically designed for agencies, but could be actually focused on all kinds of different businesses, where I'm teaching these techniques and these strategies. So we talk about models. We talk about strategies that have to do with marketing. We talk about sales strategies, actually having a sales trainer come in. We're about to do a live event in about a week. I guess it's about a week. We're going to be doing a live event here in Lubbock, and I'm going to be bringing these eForge students in, and we're going to actually do a competition. We're going to do some masterminding. I'm going to actually have a high-end sales trainer come in and teach them how to sell from start to finish. That's the kind of stuff that I do inside of the eForge group. So if that's something of interest to you, that's what I do. We do live trainings. Also, in addition to those trainings that are online and through Zoom and that you can do anywhere in the world, I also do live trainings, just like what I'm doing with the KW brokerage here in town. I'm about to go and do the Midland brokerage, the KW Amarillo brokerage, and then they're talking about bringing me in other places. So I could come into your organization, your business, your group, whatever it is, and I could teach AI SEO. It could be a one-day thing where we do 4 to 6 hours. It could be over weeks, kind of like what I do with the KW brokerages right now. We can go as deep or as light as you want, and we can customize it to your business. So I've built out literally custom GPTs just for these realtors so that they have that. Because the future of search isn't just about ranking. Guys, it's about being recognized as the authority in your space. I'm going to repeat that again. The future of search isn't just about ranking. It's about being recognized as the authority in your space. If you're not an authority online, AI will not serve you up as the answer. And if AI doesn't serve you up as the answer, you're not in the conversation. We're seeing businesses right now go from 100 phone calls a day to 20 phone calls a day, all because they're not getting shown in AI. Not because they stopped ranking. There's ranking inside of Google, but because they're not getting shown in AI. And when you stop getting shown in AI, guess what? You stop getting shown across the bulk of those searches right now. Chat owns about 80, I think it's 83, 84%, something like that, of all search traffic right now as far as an LLM goes. Chat owns that traffic right now. Google still owns the majority of the regular traffic. So there's one line that I've started telling every client I work with right now. In the past, we fought to rank on Google. In the future, we fight to be recommended by AI. That's the new game. The game has changed. The game is no longer what it was. We no longer just need to rank on Google anymore. We no longer can just go put a GBP up or Google Business Profile and do some content, some backlinks and some social media, and all of a sudden we magically start to get business. You can still get some. Your market share is going to be very small, and it's going to get even more diminished over time. You're going to have to fight to be recommended by AI. That's where the real game is going to be played in the future. And the game's already started right now. We're already seeing businesses drop. I was talking to an international company the other day that does freight, and they ship freight all around the world. And they were talking about their traffic and their lead flow is down already over 40%. That's just one client. Again, I was talking to another company that ranks big inside of a huge city in Google. They're down from 100 phone calls a day to 20 to 25 phone calls a day because they don't rank in AI. There's going to be so many businesses in 2026 that think, oh, it's the economy, it's this, it's that. That's why I'm not doing business. That's why I'm not busy, blah, 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 blah. And what they don't realize is they've just lost market share. So whether you're a realtor that wants to get seen in your local community and become the go-to realtor for your specific niche, whether you're a business that's a local business, a brick and mortar that you sell ice cream, or you're a boutique, or you sell clothes, or it doesn't matter what it is that you do. If you're a service-based business, if you have a dog wash company, or you clean pools, or you put up metal buildings, whether you're a roofing company or whether you do something completely different, if you need to be seen out there to get clients anywhere in the digital space, you better be showing in AI. You better get served up as the AI answer. So if today's episode opened your eyes to how fast AI search is changing, here's the question I want you to think about. Does the internet actually understand who you are and what you do? Like if somebody searched for you right now, if they searched for whatever your product service is right now, does the internet actually understand who you are and what you do? Because if it doesn't, it's not going to show you. If the AI systems don't recognize your authority, you won't be recommended when people ask questions. And no longer are they just asking best whatever or local or somebody near me or whatever. Those are still searches, but those are getting smaller and smaller and less and less and less and less and less. People are starting to talk to their devices. People are starting to punch in actual full questions, phrases. So if AI doesn't recognize you as authority, you're not going to be recommended when people ask questions. Look, if you're interested in learning more about how to build that kind of visibility, you can connect with me at corylong.org. You can also connect with us at yrockconsulting.com. YRock Consulting is our marketing agency. We've been in business for 11 plus years. We've built over 1,000 websites. We've outranked the IRS. We've done all kinds of craziness through the years. And the great part about YRock and what we do is we are up on exactly what's happening today. I teach this stuff. So not only are you getting marketing from a company that is up to date, but we have to teach it. If we're teaching it, that means that we're on the cutting edge of what's happening with AI search right now. You can also follow along on all my social channels. I'm on Facebook, Insta, TikTok, YouTube, wherever you want to go. Of course, this podcast is all over the place, from Spotify to Apple to wherever, right? Because I'm sharing what I'm learning in real time. I also teach this framework inside the AI Authority Engine training. And for entrepreneurs who want to take things even further, who want to work on strategy and systems and marketing and growth, guys, I have the eForge group that you're more than welcome to join at any time. Both of those training programs are open anytime, and I would love to have you if you're serious about becoming an entrepreneur that understands AI, that understands growth tactics, system strategies, all of that. And if you're a part of a brokerage, a mastermind, a business organization, if you need somebody to come speak on stage, I just spoke at Magnify Your Wealth at the end of last year and did a whole AI talk to help them to actually grow their businesses and show up in AI. If you'd like to bring this type of training into your group or onto your stage, feel free to reach out to me. PM me, DM me, hit me on corylong.org, hit me on yrockconsulting.com, any of those places, hit me on any of the social media platforms. I would love to speak with you about coming and talking with your group, training your group, helping your group, educating your group. If you're a ministry or a nonprofit, you guys know I spent 17 years in full-time ministry. We still are heavily involved in ministry. That's something, in fact, I was just asked to go speak to a youth group about what does it look like to have success and run a business and actually still live and chase God and go out and do the things that you were called to go do inside a ministry and build the kingdom and grow the kingdom. That's the kind of person I still want to be. So if you're a ministry or a nonprofit, make sure and reach out to us because we have some special programs just for you inside of YRock Consulting. We would love to help you because ministries and nonprofits don't realize this is going to affect you too. When somebody's looking for somewhere that they can help, serve, volunteer, they can go be a part of and pour into and maybe give financially to. If you're not the answer, you're not even going to get into the conversation. So if this episode's helped you to see the future of search a little more clearly, do these three things. If you haven't already, please subscribe. Hit that subscribe button, whether you're on YouTube, whether you're on Spotify, whether you're on one of the other places, Apple, whatever it is, wherever you're listening to this. And then please leave a review. I would love to hear from you. I would love to know, what have you taken from these episodes? I put out a lot of content. We've had a lot of different types of guests on the show. I've given a lot of things away. I've taught a lot of things while we've been on these shows. Leave a review. I would love to hear from you, and share this episode with somebody who needs to understand where search is heading. A lot of business owners are not seeing where this is going, and they need to know. So share this episode with them. And until next Thursday, keep forging forward, stay aligned with your calling, build with clarity, confidence, and conviction, because this is the forge where leaders are made and legacies are built.